Who created Krump? So many things to tell you. How much time you got?
Yo, what's buck, everybody? As we tell you about who created Krump, I'm in front of my grandmother's old house, 42nd in Normandy is where I used to live. I grew up here. I did my first dance moves in here to Michael Jackson tapes, and yeah, it was just me, my granny, and my granddad. I used to always look across here and see the kids playing basketball. Was never really a sports player because I was in the house dancing. So this is like where it all started. And when Rize came out, I came out of this house and people were out here, like standing out here, and I could walk down the street. People knew who I was. But this is my grandmother's house. We're talking about pre-Krump. This is before Krump had a name, before Krump had a style. I was here, and it did not look this good. So whoever is living in here now, they made it look really nice, but it was kind of toe up when I was living in here. But this is where I grew up partially, and I'm gonna take you to my mom's old place. A lot of the Krump DVDs were filmed in front of that house, driveway, down the street, and even in that house. So that's where we're going next. 81st and Broadway, that's Mama I's house. Monumental place in Krump. So we on the way. Right now we just left my granny's house. I remember I used to drive up and down these streets before battles to get my mind right. If I had a big battle, it was gonna be a lot of pressure. I had to come back to where I came from to get that edge so I can really dance with all my heart. ER, he actually used to go to elementary school down here on the corner. So imagine staying in the house with ER, but ER came to live with us there. He used to go to school down here, but he was in trouble constantly, always fighting in school. And because I was his big brother, I had to kind of go up to the school and talk to him, but nobody could negotiate with ER. he was so, he wanted to fight, and he was fighting. But we on our way to 81st and Broadway. Even right now, I feel like battling right now. Each time I come down here, it makes me remember, and it really makes me want to trip on people. All of my homies used to stay around the corner. One of my best friends, his name was Derek. He stayed around the corner, and he's the first person that I was able to go to school with. And my auntie, her name was Auntie Fippy, Holy Ghost Roller. That was my life. Going to my Auntie Fippy house, her taking us to private school. The school was called Shabak, and the principal was Dr. Woods, and it was ran by this lady named Pastor Johnson. And so I was always around like God stuff. I'm in a Christian school, and I'm going to church at the same school. So it was all in one. Had my first girlfriend. Her name was Brandy Nelson. So I had all of that stuff in the Christian school, but I was being a good boy. A lot of these streets that I'm driving down, Rize was filmed on some of these streets as well. I remember I came here before the Cage 3. Before I battled Hitman at the Cage 3, I just walked up and down all of these streets that I'm taking you to now. By the time I got finished walking, I had a chip on my shoulder. I was mad. So I was ready to battle. And it's so grimy over here. You can just feel it. You can't walk up and down these streets. There's something that's going to happen to you. And we should be coming up on the Slauson swap meet soon. And that's where we used to get all the pro clubs. Extra large pro clubs. Or whatever swap meet we could find. We had the Del Amo swap meet. And we had the Slauson. Slauson is really dangerous, especially in the time that we were coming up. Slauson, we filmed some ABDC stuff over here too. Yeah, America's Best Dance Crew. I took my crew, Street Kingdom. We were a group of 10, and we were filming some of the things on these streets because we had to show them that we didn't come from a good neighborhood, so we had a real reason to dance the way we were dancing. I think it was right there. Yep, I think it was right there. I remember pulling up. I had like a little dirt. And I wanted to have an event to where you can, like the event has, in this corner over here, this is like Mama I's house. So there's a battle that takes place in that. You get the same furniture painted the same way. So you feel like you're in the living room. And then over here is like Papa Psycho's garage. Like you could go to these different spots and you will watch an event, but you will go to Mama I's living room, watch that battle, then go to the garage and watch that battle. I want to throw an event like that to where you can travel to the places and feel like you're in the DVDs. That's just me imagining and dreaming things. And then it comes to pass and people go, I made that up and I did that. I put on that event. It's like, this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with people that say that they created Krump. Like, okay, you make that claim, but where's the proof? Because I didn't see you overseas. I didn't see you even throwing your own events, your own sessions. I didn't see that. I'm just talking to the people who say that they created it. They made no room. I mean, you probably heard about events every once in a while, but it wasn't consistent for the Krump world to come and get better and innovate. I always had a session. I always threw an event. I'm the first person that was teaching legit workshops in Krump. Like, how would you do this? And if the other creators were doing it, well, where's the evidence? I didn't see anybody that came from their lessons, no workshops. After that, it comes down to, what do you believe? You can believe people that don't have any evidence of what they claim. I'm not taking all the credit away from them. They were there at the start. They were the first ones on the movie. Like, you're the faces of it, but it was existing before you guys became the face. And these are the type of things that we were doing. So it's like 20 years of teaching people, going to places like Paris, Japan, Africa, and leaving it there, giving it to those people. I didn't see any other of the so-called creators doing that. They're just like on a high horse because of Rize. Like, yeah, Rize happened in 2005. 20 years ago, it was Rize. And the style from 20 years of Krump, you mean to tell, okay, you got 20 years of Krump to tell me about. And Krump was before 2005. That's when the world got a taste of it, but we was doing it before. I'll say about 4 years of like Krump. And then when it got out from the movie, 20 years, where are you at? 20 years? We're still talking about Rize 20 years ago? Where did all of these people come from? Like, what? How did it get overseas? Who did that? There has to be an explanation for it. So I'm trying to give you guys a look into, like, think about these things. Not that people care, but for the people that do, you have these people that probably, Krump and Rize was probably the highlight of their life. I can't say anything about that. Can't take that away. But you can't say that because you were in Rize at this time that you created a movement that is happening 20 years after that and 4 years before Rize. So who in the world could be responsible for something like that? If we all did it, I didn't see these people for 20 years, and these people were opposing me and everything I stood for. So I'm like, where were you guys creating Krump? Because if you're talking about like old Krump before Rize, you're talking about a set of 4 to 5 moves. It's not like that anymore. So creating Krump, the style grew. You can't just like make a baby, right, and not feed it and not, like, you can't do that. It just will die. Why didn't Krump die? If it was up to the so-called self-proclaimed creators, it would have been dead. It was dead to them, which is why they were off doing their other things. I stayed with Krump because it was the only thing I had, and I created it. When you created something, you can't just leave it. 20 years later, I'm still here, still doing it. And I know people don't like to hear it, but ain't nobody gonna tell your story for you. So before I leave this earth, you're gonna know the truth. And I'm responsible for giving people credit that they don't deserve, that they haven't been good stewards of. So this is what it has come to now. And I don't feel no ways about telling you the truth. But those of you watching, ask them for the proof. If you don't ask them for me, ask them for yourself. If you want to know where Krump is and how it came about, now you got 20 years of stuff you can ask for. This is like a wonderful thing. Oh yeah, we're about to be at my mom's. This is the place where we made up the first beginning of the moves. Like, this is when J Smooth and Miho, J Smooth came to my mom's house over here one time, but Miho, he stayed around the corner from me. So we used to meet up, and I used to write moves down and do them, and he would make his own version. So when the wobble was created, that dance that Missy Elliott and the dancers from Missy Elliott, they butchered this. It came from this living room where I'm about to take you now. So this is like a little pit stop. This area is pretty dangerous, so I'm gonna get out. Boom, boom, there it is, and we gotta go because this is not the area to be. Yeah, it's not the area to be hanging out. My auntie Nay used to stay over here, and we used to hit this donut shop like faithfully. The donuts was hidden in Washington High School. That's the high school that me and Joe Artist, Miho, we met there because I was clown walking very fast. So that's when he approached me and asked me what was I doing. And that's how me and Joe Artist met. In the middle. 1121 and a half. That's where I used to stay with my mom when I first came back from New Jersey. And that's where Rugged Nigga Dancing was birthed. That's where the wobble was birthed too. Yeah. I mean, it's active in a better way than it used to be. But yeah. 1121, man. Can't go in there. Yep. Middle house right there. The wobble was created. Rugged Nigga Dancing. And this when me and Miho became tight. And I started to share with him what I had. And he stayed around the corner from here. So probably drive by his block. And then we head into 81st and Broadway, my Mama I's house. This wasn't Mama I's house. This was like pre. Nobody knew who Mama I's was. But the next house, this is the famous house for Krump, Mama I's house. So this is Imperial Highway. Tommy had his academy. It was down Imperial. And it was, I think it was Southwest College. It's down there too. That's where the battle zones used to be. So because we stayed over here, it was easy to just walk down there and get it cracking with Tommy. Even though it was a long walk, it was just easier than trying to catch a ride. So this is like the clowning era. We were just getting out of the clowning era. Krump was happening low key around these parties around the neighborhood, but Tommy had it set up at Southwest College. You could catch the clowns up there. They might be up there. You could lab with them. You could probably battle some of them. They were just up there. It was a kicking spot for them. And the 4th of July, it was these spots all on the corner where you just buy fireworks. Tommy had first dibs, so Tommy had all the crazy fireworks before everybody. He would go super early and just rack up. And we'll be popping fireworks all day. I was scared though, so I didn't like it because I didn't want to blow my finger up. I need my hand for the language. I need this. And the old little Tighteyex that I battled on Rize, he used to stay up and down these streets. I don't remember exactly where, but I remember us walking with him down these streets. He lived around here. I would have to take y'all by hospitality. That was my old church. That's the first church split what I talked to you guys about in the apology video that's on the documentary. And I told you about like the spiritual side of Krump and the church I was serving in when Kingdom Radically Uplifted Mighty Praise really got its like, oh shoot, this is a thing. We were at this church. It was me and all the people that you saw on Street Kingdom. That was our thing. Mama I's house, then we church. Then we Mama I's house, church. It was back and forth. So before I took my my hiatus, this is the church I was serving at, and when I was going to this church, I had a lot of confidence, and this when I was doing a lot of battles, calling a lot of people out, so much so that, you know, I offended people and I had to apologize to them, you know, after the church split happened. Mama I's house is where I trained T-Fly, I trained Hitman, me and ER. We trained there a lot. We battled there a lot. I trained with Style Eyes, Basics, LeVar. He's the guy I was talking to on the interview on the page about his Basics twin rib. So he was with me at my mom's house. That's when I first put him on his little rip and I started training him there. I did all my preparation for the Cage 3 there. And all of the DVDs that you saw, like Me versus T-Fly, and you saw like Grimm in the house, this packed house. This was Mama I's house. But it was right down the street from the church, so it was the hot spot. But many people got trained in the house. And they used to call it back in the like kind of post-clowning days, the hyperbolic time chamber. Like, what's that? Like, oh, that means you come in and you leave better. Okay, cool. I liked it. Mama Toon, her house was the spot, but she stays in another area, and I ain't going over there right now. All of the mama, like Mama Toon, like mamas, and we use this term a lot, even when we were dancing and clowning. We had a move called "On My Mama." It's just something that you say. I don't suggest you put things on your mama like that, but everything, if we wanted people to know that we were serious, we were like, that's on my mama. So mamas were like the heart of Krump. You had a mama, you know, you had a house to dance at. You had the big mamas, they'll cook you some food, and they watched the dancing too. They was involved in it. So that's why you hear like Mama Toon, Mama Eyes, and Mama this, or Papa this. Because we were all looking for mothers and fathers in a way. So if you come to Mama Toon's house, you're like her son for that time. You come to Mama I's house, you're like her son. Or Papa Psycho, even though all of his boys Krump, we were his sons too. These streets look better than what I remember. I used to drive down these streets and ask myself, what am I doing with my life? Driving is like a therapy for me. I love Krump, the adrenaline, but it's like, how do you calm down? I drive. Because I can listen and I can visualize. So I did a lot of driving. We drive for no reason, wasting gas, just call it a ride out. Let's ride out. Like, where are we going? I don't know. Let's drive to Hollywood Boulevard and come back. You just find weird ways to cope. I recently got in contact with Pastor David too. Pastor David was like my old mentor at the church I was going to, hospitality. It was like 8 years, and he put me under his wing. He taught me a lot too. I had to ask him for forgiveness because I didn't handle that situation right. Like, this is kind of a blame situation. Like, he's a man, just like me. I'm not perfect by a long shot, so somebody exposes your imperfections, I mean, everybody will look crazy. So I asked him when I hit him up on Instagram, I asked him to forgive me, and he forgave me. He was like, matter of fact, you can come by the church. He had a new spot. Still haven't got a chance to link up with him, but it's something that I'm seeking to do. Like, I want to see him. I want to see how everybody is.
Yeah.
One of the people from the church who was his mentee as well, his name was Milton. He just passed. So I think it's really time for me to go and see my old pops. Coming up on Mama I's house in a minute. Now, Crush stayed here. I had the whole fam. They were just living here. We were sleeping in the living room. We would get up and make DVDs. All the people from the OC used to come here. Blood Brothers was filmed right out here. Rolling Razor commercials. Dang. That's a big old pothole. Wow. They still got that big old window. They still ain't covered up that window. That's crazy. Yep, they still got, my window is still there. No curtain, no nothing. That's how they came and got me for the Rize movie. They came to that window, like, they knocked on it. Like, hello, I can see you knocking. It was like, don't knock, just tell me what you want. I can hear you. It's like, Chaz. I'm like, oh, I see you knocking. Why would you knock on a window that has no curtain? You can see me. You already know I'm here. This makes me think about when like, all of these people that came through to my house, and all of these people that because of Krump, came from out of places like Mama I's house, or my mother taking care of them like she was taking care of me. And when they say certain things about you, when they turn on you, it make you be like, dang, like, what? Do you realize all of these things that happen to you and you turning? It's just a weird thing, but it happens. I'm still here to tell you, Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. Yee! Roscoe's used to be the spot, but they put that over here. It wasn't here when we were living. They put that here after. But it's risky. It's a risky area. So it's like, yeah, it's Roscoe's, but it's also risky Chicken and Waffles. Yeah, Greater Hospitality. Yep, it's still called Hospitality International.
Whoa.
Dang. Yeah, this is the church I was going to when I had so much confidence in the Lord and just putting them in dancing. I got it from this place. And look at Hospitality, it's still here. Dang, they still got the double doors. That's funny. Yeah, I made a lot of people mad because of this place. They used to tell me, Jen, don't you be saying that Jesus stuff around here. I'm still gonna get off on you with it. Yeah, this Who Created Krump story is, these little details will tell you the truth. And if you're a real Krumper who's been in it for a long time throughout those years of growth, you know what these spots are. You know what these spots mean. One day I hope to take you to Orange County so you can see where we used to hold the session. And then the D spot, the after session. Like, we all used to be up in there. The Harley Davidson spot. Like, all of these places that the other so-called creators, they were not at. They were not at, ever. they never showed up. So that's Krump movement too. That's creating Krump too. But I'll show you guys so you can know, and you can go to these spots yourself. And you can still kind of sense it, like, dang, y'all was getting off out here. Yes. Yes, sir. So this is Mama I's house. People are working out here. The landlord, that was the landlord before I moved. She's still the landlord here, so they still know who I am. But this porch right here talks with the little homies. Rolling Razor commercials. Blood Brothers was filmed right out here in this street. This is the DVD where ER got his, he started to come out. So Blood Brothers right here. A lot of the Krump King sessions right here. And yeah, just walking up and down these streets. This was my creative area. When I told you about the guy Rize, he came to this house and we battled right here in the middle of the street. My church was down the street from here. Because so much battling was happening, we had to think about, okay, how can we make this competitive? Because how can we make this energy, how can we tell who won or who lost? But the atmosphere will tell you, but Krump became so much more evolved that we had to start thinking about judging and how we're gonna judge. And we learned that by battling countless of hours, so many hours. When I tell you I was practicing 7 hours a day, it was here, in this house. We're gonna get a closer look at, my room and the window that I'm talking about, that it never had a curtain.
Trying to make it cleaner.
Right here, Krump King DVD sessions, little homies of Krump, Being Young, Hitman, Crush, ER, Tampico. We was in that house. We used that when it was vacant, and we sessioned it there just so we could fit more people. But my mom accepted everybody. Everybody was over here sessioning. You have to have a hub. If you're saying you're a creator, you should provide a place. If you don't have a building, it should be your house. It was my house. I sacrificed my house so people can build their Krump careers. It's that window I was telling you about. I never had a curtain on it, so you could come right here and you could see us laughing right through there. And me and Miho were right here when they came to get us. And they were talking to us from here. Jazz, we gotta go to film this. Jazz, we gotta go to this little park. My mom was here. We laughed in there. I don't actually want to go in the house, but there's a whole backyard way right here where my little homies used to sneak out when they wanted to do something wrong. And back here, there's a lot of supernatural experiences in here. This is where my mom was prophesying to us in her sleep. As soon as you walked in, you had a couch there. So many labs out here. I spent practice time out here in the living room. This is the hyperbolic time chamber that people used to come to get better at their Krump. If you had a problem in your Krump, go to Mama I's house. That was the instruction, because everybody that came in here, they came out just with a crazy ability. So, in this rundown looking place, something was here. Krump, it didn't come out of here, but it was formed and molded and dispersed here at Mama I's house. So this is a very important spot. Everybody who was anyone back in the day, you had to come here. If you did not come here, you had no claim, you had no stake in Krump. That's just how it was. And there has been DVDs showing you that. Remember Mom fussing and right at the door just fussing and we talking, laughing. I'm bringing all these strange people and she's like, how many people you having for this session? She's watching the movement grow and she's like, whatever you're doing is working. I don't have enough food to feed these people, but come on. So I just remember her at this door. I would be like, Mom, I got people coming to the session. And she'll be like, oh, Jazz, why didn't they tell me? At least we can straighten up something. And she'll be at the door. So I hear her voice. How many times this scene right here appears in all of the Krump King DVDs? I want to know, if you're really paying attention, how many times have you seen this in all of the DVDs that we filmed? This was a Krump session spot. So if you're just joining the series, the Who Created Krump series, let me get you up to speed. I'll take you through the prophetic word. 10 years old, 11 years old, I get hit with the Krump. I come to LA, I find clowning. It's not quite what happened to me, but it's good enough. Started there, meet people, and Krump starts, Rize happens, right? Then after Rize, the whole world knows about it. Now, okay, we have a new movement now. We have the Krump movement. The movement has begun. How are we gonna make it spread? Mama I's house, everybody's coming in there. We're training, we're building, we're filming. And now we have to think about, how are we gonna use this as like competition? We always battle, but how are we going to keep it going? Like Tommy the Clown, the reason why it was so popular, it had a battle zone. Like, everything has to come down to a battle. That's the culture of how we do dance. We like to battle dance. So I'm thinking, like, how can I make, clowning already has a battle culture. Nobody really cares about who wins or who loses in clowning. But in Krump, it's definitely elevated and innovated. So how are we going to make this a sport? What are the basics? So then you have to get into teaching Krump and learning the basics of Krump, because we have to figure out a way to compete so that we can judge, so that we can make more stars. 2005, Rize came out. We filmed Shake City, but we filmed Rize periodically between 2003 and 2005 when it came out. It was like 2 years, I remember, we were filming for that. As we're doing that, we don't know what Rize is going to be. We're doing other things like the DVDs, and we're getting together session and building style. So by the time Rize comes out, we have something to stand on. We were judging battles back then, but it was more about who has the moment, like who made us feel something. That's a way to judge, but now we have Krump as a competitive sport. You cannot go by your feelings. You have to go by the law. Because we built the style so many hours, so many days, we have the law. When I say we, I'm talking about me, whoever was around me at the time. It switches. So whoever is around for the new era, they get the new sauce. Now we have Krump as a full-blown sport. You have the EBS, you got the Illest battle, the Royal Rumble battle, the Krump battle this. So many competitions now. How did this get from 5-7 moves to now we're competing? Surely we're not competing with the same old 5 to 7 moves that these lazy other so-called creators are claiming to hold on to. It's hundreds of moves now. Filter through this energy. Everybody knows the bop of this energy. Now we have events all across the world, and they need to be judged. Who is building the format for these things? It has to come through a battle, and it has to be judged. It has to be judged by experienced, skillful Krumpers, not just people who've been here for hella long and got dirt all over their style. It's just, you can't just do it because you've been here for a long time. You gotta be active within your being here. It's like saying, J Smooth created Krump. No, I was just there when they was in the living room doing it. I ain't do nothing. But because I'm there, that means I created Krump. That's BS. We gotta stop that. That's not what's going on now.
Long Beach is where Street Kingdom came.
Mm-hmm. So to give you guys a quick timeline, Mama I's house, I'm talking Krump King era. All of the Krump King stuff, even the Rize stuff, from Rize into Krump Kings and out of Krump Kings, Mama I's house was the spot. So when we moved here, it went from Rize and that whole thing, and now Rize had came out. I was going back and forth with my granny, but I was living with my mom at this time, and this is just where we landed. And then we started all of the Krump King DVDs, and that's where that era started. This is before I moved on my own. Like, I was still staying with my mom. My first apartment was in Long Beach, and From there, I kind of moved around to a couple more spots, but I ended up at the place we called the Wardlow. And that is the Street Kingdom era, like Street Kingdom versus this group, Street Kingdom versus Impact. Every time I made a group, it was always this group versus all the other groups that were out there, because nobody liked Tighteyex groups, even though it was the only thing rocking. So we leave here the Krump Kings era. When this era ended, I moved to Long Beach, and another era begun, the Street Kingdom era. This is when we started to do more social media stuff and stuff on TV. We went another route. We did the DVDs in this area, then we tried to take it back to the industry as a group in this area to show people real Krump. And we were still combating with other groups. In the battle culture, battling is what makes people who they are in Krump. If you're claiming to be anything, we're not saying that if you don't battle, you're just a nothing. If you want to be elite, if you want to be known as a great or a GOAT or whatever, you have to have wins under your battle belt. Battling is how we know, okay, this is the guy we're going to dance like. This is the guy we're going to listen to. This is the guy we're going to try to be under, because he is the tightest. In this series, you have seen me battle Prissy. You have seen me battle Little C. Because this is how we deal with it. I had a problem with what they were saying. I can't only have a problem with it by word. I have to go battle these people that say they created Krump. Because if they created Krump, they should be, if not better, just as tight as me. If you created something, it shouldn't leave you. So I battled Prissy. We saw how that went down. I battled Little C. You saw how that went down. I also battled Miho. Same result. So if once I beat all of these people, as far as the rules go in Krump, I'm the boss. You have to beat me to say something over me. So this is why we battle, so we can have a structure. Okay, this person is claiming that he's this. This person is claiming this. Well, make them battle, and let's see who wins. Whoever wins, that work will show this person is going to be in that position until somebody comes and knocks him off. It's like you win the championship because you win the games. So Krump battles were like the Krump games. Whoever wins this is the champion. And I have beaten everybody who was somebody in Krump. And everybody who was somebody came from my lineage. And how did they do this? They did it through battles. I am not exempt from the rule. I have more battles than anybody in Krump under my belt. I've been battling before you guys saw me. So I know this rule. I live by this rule. This is the law. This is the law of Krump. If you want to make claims, you have to battle and you have to win. If you lose, you cannot say what you want to say. That's what losing gets you. You're not the one. So when people are trying to be something in Krump and climb up the ranks, they battle a lot. That lets us know, okay, you mean business. You're winning battles. So the battle culture is very, very, very important. It's not the only thing. I like sessioning because sessioning builds people. Battling, winning and losing, this is for the elite. Not everybody can take this. So you have to be skilled and you have to practice in order to take the pressures of battling. This is where a lot of people fall off. So if you're going to battle at an elite level, you have to have a record of wins before you say anything. And it can't just be you in your living room with all your fam telling you what you want to hear. You have to battle when the pressure is on and make it work. We're not saying that you have to battle all the time, but I battled everything moving. If I have to abide by this, I'm not only claiming creator. If you're claiming that you're a creator, you should have this record. You can't just come into Krump and say, I'm a this. You can, but okay, now you gotta prove it. You open your big mouth, show us. Every time I open my big mouth, I have to show proofs. This is how it works. If you're gonna say anything, that's a lot of people in Krump that are like, I'm a this and I'm a that. Like, it don't work like that. You gotta get wins under your belt, and it can't be your own private wins that you and your fam only know about. You have to do it in the eras, in the times. You have people that aren't even tight in this time. They have wins in that era. They don't have wins in this one. So it's not only even about you winning in your little circle. You have to remain before you claim something in Krump. And I hate those people that come in claiming, because you're making a mockery of the work that needs to be done for you to say that. You're just saying it because you don't have any morals. You don't have any work ethic. You just want what you want. Krump does not go like that. Why? Because it has God's principles attached to it. You can't be lazy in it. You have to be faithful in it. You have to be faithful to be elite in anything. So Krump is the same way. If you cannot take the pressure, I would advise you, do not battle. Do not battle before you're ready. Session, get a feel for your style. Get a feel for your timing. Support people. Battling, it's about you and you get all the praise and support. You got to give that first. So I would suggest that you start off with sessions. Find your place, find your style, and be ready to compete. And when you compete, do it at an elite level. And before you make claims, show work.
Who created Krump? So many things to tell you. How much time you got?